What is the creepiest thing you've ever experienced in your home? What car says, I have money, but I'm not showing it off? What should die off in 2023? Recording yourself crying or having any sort of meltdown. That goes for recording your kids as well. Be a present parent, not a photographer. Not using your turn signal. It must be so hard. I mean, it's like you gotta just flip a lever to up or down to decide. It's so much work. Bullies being treated like they're more of a victim than the person they were terrorizing. Makes no sense. Yeah, the no retaliation rules are really, really scummy because it just lets the bullies get away with it and then the victim gets punished. Inflation and rent increases. The only way that'll happen is if the billionaires die off. All the dinosaur politicians. So pretty much 90% of all politicians. Got it. 2022 calendars. I'll never get rid of my calendar. You can't make me. Influencers that haven't experienced an ounce of reality outside of social media having a voice on important topics. Airbnb greed crushing the housing market. I actually really hope this one happens because God, I'll never be able to buy a house at this rate. What is the best way to respond to, is this a date? Seemingly the best response is to just get up and leave. At least that's what everyone does to me. Once I said, it's a business proposal. We didn't date for long. Yes, Laura, we've been married for 1.5 years. It's safe to say we're dating. 1 minute, I have to ask Reddit what they think. No, this is a robbery. Proceed to rob. No, this is Patrick. Do you want it to be one? That's actually a good answer, I think. Weird to see a real answer in one of these. Everything's a date. That's how calendars work. I think it's a prune, actually. Okay, I guess I like that one since a date is also like of dried up fruit, so sure. I actually had this happen once. I said, why, yes it is. Anyways, we've been married 5 years now. Oh, congratulations. Nah, this is a Make-A-Wish contract, and that's how you kill the vibe instantly. Damn, I got catfished by an Excel spreadsheet. What food doesn't taste as good as it used to? Planters cheese balls. Those things were like the food of the gods when I was a kid in the 80s. When they brought them back for a while a few years ago, I bought a few cans, only to find out they tasted like disappointment. You really can't go home again. Tim Hortons donuts. They used to be the bomb when they were made in store. Then restaurant brands bought them and decided it was better / cheaper to make them in a factory and ship them to stores to have them heated and topped. Nah, I miss old Tim Hortons. I refuse to go there now. Way to go, Burger King. People already don't go to you, so you had to ruin Tim Hortons. Hostess snack cakes. I haven't had those in a long time, mostly because like sugar does weird things to me now. Juicy fruit gum. They ruined the flavor 20 years ago. It tastes bitter after 20 seconds. They should just discontinue the gum. My grandma's cooking. She left me her recipes when she passed, but I still can't recreate her magic. Keep trying. I'm sure you'll get it at some point. Then you can be the grandma. KFC has gone way downhill in the past 25 years. Pop-Tarts. They are chalky / pasty and so thin now. I don't remember them ever being that thick. It might have just been because when we were smaller, things felt bigger. Nearly all mass market American candy bars have gone downhill. Even Hershey bars. Stuff tastes like brown wax. Good gourmet / specialty bars abound, but they'll cost. Worth it though. Peaches. I've commented on this many times, but the last several years, the peach crop has sucked. I haven't had a good, juicy, non-mealy peach in a long time. I don't know what's going on with the peach farms and trees, but they're just not as good. What harmful ideas are being taught to children? Oh God, I don't think I have enough time for that. I used to work at a movie theater back in the day, and I'll never forget witnessing a kid pick up their trash on their way out like a responsible person, and their mother instructing them to put it back down because it's not their responsibility. Probably way more harmful things being taught to kids, but the story just came back to my mind. That's just despicable. Like, sure, they have people that come in and clean the theater after you leave, but just be nice. Pick up after yourself. It's so easy. External validation. Constantly chasing likes and followers, the unbearable weight of keeping up appearances, lives and bodies that aren't perfect seem to have no value. Ultimately, wanting external validation isn't horrible, but don't dedicate your entire life to it because it'll just make you feel worse. That crying is bad. Parents don't learn to regulate their own emotions and expect their kids to do it. Then they start suppressing crying, and then they grow up to be adults with zero emotional regulation. It's a cycle. Oh yeah, that one's a fun one. I haven't cried in years, and it's not by choice. That if someone teases / bullies you, that person may like you. Basically teaching kids at a young age that it's okay when someone is being mean and rude to them. I think the bully teasing thing only applies to like kindergarten. After that, everyone's just evil. Your parents are always right until they're not. That questioning authority is a bad thing. Obviously pick your battles on this one, but yeah, just blindly believing authority, that'll get you real far. Teaching them they're responsible for how other people feel. Mommy is so sad you won't hug her. Child then feels obligated to hug her to make her feel better. Think about what this means as an adult. They don't have an opinion. I'm breaking generational curses by simply listening to my kids. That they're dumb and don't know anything. Kids are incredibly bright and will call you out on your shit. For as dumb as kids can be, y'all are pretty smart. Men of Reddit, what is something you wish other men would stop doing? Caring about over masculinity? That's one. Insulting their friends to look cool in front of a girl. Yeah, it's just a low blow. Don't do it. That thing where a girl turns you down so you suddenly call her an ugly bee. It's really not hard to not be a rude piece of shit, and it makes you sound pathetic. Have some respect and imagine your grandmother could hear you. Fellas, remember, women don't owe you anything, so if they deny you, just take it on the chin and walk away. Not washing hands after using public bathrooms. Did we not learn anything in the past 3 years? Being overly horny and hitting on women non-stop who clearly are uncomfortable. It's hard to watch. There's a time and a place, and if you are at that time and place, but they're still not into it, then, take the hint. I wish y'all would stop trying to be Mr. Tough, arrogant guy when an attractive woman is in your presence. Joining MLMs and being really vague about what they do. I don't want an exclusive chance to gain you as a mentor. I sat next to you in pre-algebra and know that the concept of math escapes you. Also, stop renting luxury vehicles for a weekend and pretending you made it. Maybe I'm just a hater, but if your whole plan is to not just fake it till you make it, but to flex till you make it, then I'm not interested in whatever opportunity you're trying to sell me. Peeing on the seat. You're a grown man. Lift the seat or sit if you can't get all your piss dribbles in the hole. You might have hentai in your name, but you are spitting. Being afraid to open up to each other. Fellas, is it gay to have emotions? Acting overly manly and not smiling. Like, chill man, I'm not trying to pee on your territory. How do you accept being ugly? Slowly. That's how I've done it. With the simple technique called denial. You too can become as handsome as me. My grandma used to say, everybody looks good in blue. If you don't look good in blue, then I guess you're just ugly. So I guess buy a jean jacket and go from there. Plenty of ugly people out there, man. I've known plenty of them to be happy, plenty of friends, happily married, and otherwise successful. Plenty of people out there who don't just hate people because of their face. I'm ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud. What's something you have that you're 99% sure no one else in the comments will have? A guitar pick tossed to me by Johnny Cash during a concert in 1988. No, I got that one too. A basket made by my grandma from an armadillo she killed because it was eating up her garden. The nose and tail touch, making the handle. Edit/update. I am out of town this week. Pinky promised to come back with a picture, and we'll never see the picture. Unless we do, and whoa, here it is. Wow, that's cool. A copy of the original shooting script of The Princess Bride, autographed by nearly the entire cast. A giant 6-foot fiberglass Hello Kitty statue from outside the Sanrio store in Japan. One of the invitations to Hogwarts used in the filming of the first Harry Potter movie. That actually would be pretty cool, but I feel like a lot of people would have them, you know, just considering how many letters that kid got. What does your country do the best? Queuing by the looks of things in London at the minute. African prince that needs 50 million pounds after his father's death has entered the chat. Start world wars and losing them. Play hockey. Hockey? What is that? You made that up. Sleep after lunch. Are you from Middle Earth? Are you in the Shire? Cycling. I mean, everybody bikes, but I'm gonna say France? Schnitzel. Oh, the guys that suck at world wars? Halloumi and corruption. I have no idea what that is. Nasi lemak. Coconut rice? Still lost. No clue. Cars, beer, and bureaucracy. I was gonna guess America, but I also don't think 90% of people know how to say bureaucracy, so... Who's the best comedian of all time, in your opinion? Bob Newhart. Just so his name's on this thread. Dude needs a mention. That he does, because I've never heard of him. George Carlin. Honorable mention to Bill Burr. Doug Stanhope. I scrolled down so far and didn't see his name once. Sorry to anyone that's already posted him. Billy Connolly. The most windswept and interesting as well. Monty Python as a group. I don't think there's been a single more influential comedy act than Flying Circus. Robin Williams had absolutely insane stand-up sets. Just absolutely manic. George Carlin was in the game a long time and was a master at reinventing himself to stay relevant. Mitch Hedberg was brilliant at taking you in one direction then doing a complete 180 at the punchline. But I gotta go with Steve Martin. His stand-up was brilliant, completely self-deprecating, and totally bonkers. We're lucky he's still with us and putting out good content. Robin Williams. Rest in peace, King. What sauce do you eat with your fries? Raising Cane sauce. Alright, here's another thing to murder me for. I don't like Raising Cane's. It's kinda mid. Salt. Not necessarily a sauce, so try again. Whataburger spicy ketchup. I still haven't tried it, even though there's finally one in my town. I'll get on it. Gravy. Ooh, you're talking about poutine. Ooh, oh, I want it so bad. Aioli. On the side. Tzatziki? I'll never learn how to say that, and I've never tried it. Honey mustard. It's a safe choice. Malt vinegar. Oh, I don't know why that sounds really gross. Barbecue sauce. I guess it depends on what fries you're having. If they're like McDonald's, then maybe not. Ketchup and mayo. I feel like Wendy's really thrust mayo into my fast food experience, and I'm not mad. What are some traditions and customs that have fallen by the wayside? If you look at old homesteads, you can sometimes see 2 cedar trees in the front of the house. These were planted when a couple got married. Oh, interesting. I never knew that. Sunday dinner with the fam. Contacting people only during certain hours. That goes for coworkers too. Wearing hats. Everyone except very small children wore a hat almost all the time. It's also one of the traditions that was both common worldwide and has also disappeared worldwide, informing job applicants that someone else was hired. I still think it should be illegal for them to just never respond to you, especially if you're waiting on a callback. Like, I've wasted my time. People used to wear black for a month after a spouse passed away. Well, you only have so many black clothes, so actually training new employees instead of only looking for candidates that can hit the ground running. Yeah, seemingly the new training policy is to send the trainee off with another employee who barely got trained themselves, so then you kind of just get depreciating knowledge of the job as time goes on. What song has the most disturbing lyrics of all time? One Way or Another by Blondie. Most of the lyrics are literally messages Debbie Harry got from a stalker. Also, Every Breath You Take by The Police. Every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. Yeah, really creepy. The end of Daddy by Korn when Jonathan Davis is just screaming and crying in anguish. Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil. This is one that's always like, this isn't so bad. Why did this used to bother me so much? Through the first half of the song, and then the next part comes on and like, nah, I'm good. Don't need to relive that again. Pumped Up Kicks. Still a banger. That's so wrong. Have an upvote. Honestly, Jeremy by Pearl Jam. The longer I teach, the more it gets to me. Every breath you take grows more sinister every time I hear it. The End, a song by The Doors on their first record. Kim by Eminem. What is the most disturbing book you have ever read? 5 Days at Memorial. Non-fiction account of what happened at a large New Orleans hospital during and after Katrina. Ooh, that actually sounds really fascinating. Anyone else ever read that book when they were younger called Unwind? Don't know why it was available in our middle school library, but it was about unwanted children getting sent to camps where instead of being killed, their bodies were legally disassembled for people in need of transplants. Maybe it's more effed up in my memory than it is in reality, but I remember being deeply disturbed by it. Misery by Stephen King. The horror and suffering the main character went through was easily felt. The insanity of the person keeping them captive and the way they were able to look sane in front of others and the police was chilling. We need to talk about Kevin. Unsettled the absolute out of me. Apt Pupil by Stephen King too. In terms of horror, The Passage by Justin Cronin was excellently scary. Rage or The Longest Walk. But really anything I've read by Chuck Palahniuk. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not a genius, okay? A Child Called. It was no picnic. The Painted Bird. Alright people, when we're doing these, you gotta put the author in there so we can look them up. Acceptable Risk. It's realistic fiction based on the idea that the Salem witch trials were caused by a hallucinogenic fungus in rye flour. It was a really good read, but also yeesh. Black Beauty. Seriously, I read this to my elementary school child every night over course of a couple weeks. The brutality and animal cruelty was something else. Eventually I switched to another book for a nighttime story, but but I read that sucker to the end. Who knew this book was like that? Children of the Dust. I had to read it in elementary school in the 80s. It was about the survivors of a nuclear war, and it was pretty horrifying. I read The Exorcist on a stormy winter 12-hour night shift at a gas station. Back in the 60s, most gas stations were just basically metal sheds. The whole building rattled all night. Couldn't put the book down. Probably had only 3 customers all shift. Still went to see the movie though. Really scared the shit out of myself. When I was taking psychology, I read a book called Kids Who Kill, and it was a book about young kids with psychopathy. What is the worst question you have ever been asked? When I was 17 and my only brother, 19, died unexpectedly, each of my parents, divorced, asked why it couldn't have been me, separately. That is beyond messed up. I'm so sorry. What's those on your face? Acne. Do you have any friends? You seem like you're kinda awkward and don't have friends. We'd never even met in real life, so needless to say, he got blocked straight after. Why are you so quiet? Oh, it's my favorite question. It's because I don't want to friggin' talk to you. Your husband will leave you if you don't wear nicer clothes. You know that, right? Said my mom when I was literally not going anywhere and staying home all day wearing comfy clothes. She just won the game of who's going to the retirement home. Why aren't you normal? A step-parent asked me that multiple times when I was 12. I was just a bit clumsy and shy. Why don't you have kids? In this economy? Why would I do that? If every man simply disappeared, what would happen to the world? The Taliban probably wouldn't be as much of a problem. Thanks to cryobanks, we'd likely see more men reappear within a decade. Question is, where are we going to? Is it a new planet, or are we just dying? Not necessarily dying or getting sent somewhere else, more just like a Thanos, just a fair bit of lesbianism. Moderate to severe lesbianism. Heavy to industrial lesbianism. I don't know why the term industrial lesbianism is so funny to me. It will become no man land. r/dad jokes. Well, technically, no more dad jokes. Hey, women can be great fathers, so they can make great dad jokes as well. It's a no man's world. It's raining no men's. No man in the mirror. We are finally free. Toilet seats would stay down. I never understood this. It's like either just put it back down or aim better. I don't get it. The next generation of men from the sperm banks are going to be living a very happy life. What's up with all these threads trying to pit the sexes against each other? Notice that as well. The men tired of men and women tired of women post yesterday made me really uncomfortable too. I don't know. Easy for convo to get heated discussing such things. What is falsely seen as a sign of maturity? Having a spouse and kids. Being in a relationship, having kids, working 60 plus hours a week. Nobody should ever work 60 plus hours a week. That's inhumane. Being above humor and putting others down for joking around. When you are a true adult, you can also know how to be a child. Not acting childish. Sounds so strange, but the most mature people usually have no problem tapping into their childish or silly sides. Immature people overdo it trying to be cool, not apologizing to younger people. Being an adult means being the bigger man or woman, so apologize when you're wrong. A beard. Mine started to be full with 14, but I was still a friggin' kid though. Having a high position in a hierarchical company. Having a career require very specialized expertise. I know doctors and lawyers who are incredibly emotionally immature. Their kids are usually good evidence of this hidden secret. You're the last person on Earth. What's the first thing you do? The first thing I do is go to the hardware store and get a ton of those triangular door stops. The rubber ones you get to jam under a door to keep it open. The last thing I want to do is end up trapped in some parking garage stairwell and slowly die of thirst. Break into the fanciest house I can find and live in it. Gather supplies, read survival/farming books. Oh, Bill Murray's house. Just be careful of any zombies walking around. Pile up books to read from the ruins of the library, then promptly break my glasses. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Everything will be 100% off. I'm going on a shopping spree. Start getting the last word on Reddit posts. I mean, that's under the assumption the internet still works, because if there's nobody, then how is the internet getting run, huh? Take off my clothes. I will be living naked now, till a fucking snake goes into your ass. Sounds nice. Alright, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Live in Costco. That does sound fun, but I don't know how well insulated Costco's are. It's all concrete. Start turning the lights off. I hate light pollution at night. Ooh, that would actually be super cool. With nobody on Earth, you just turn the power grid off and boom, you finally get to see the stars. Drive to Area 51 and hang out with the aliens. See what's going on in the Vatican Library. Well, you're gonna have to try and get get there first, unless you're already in Italy. Assuming animals are still alive, I'd go try to join a band of gorillas. Teach them rock, paper, scissors or something. Yeah, good luck with that before they smash your brain in. What do people pretend to like? Mandatory corporate fun. Oh, it's just the worst. It's so bad when they try it. Their job. What? No, I love my job. I love delivering pizza all day and driving my car and not getting tipped. Gold leaf on food. It makes no sense. Why did we start doing it to make it look fancy? It's useless. When someone sings happy birthday to you, you just gotta sit there and it's weird. You don't know what to do with your hands and Obnoxious over singing in television talent shows. Gender reveal parties. I don't know how we're still doing it after the many wildfires. Whatever celebrity died most recently. The Queen? She's just kicking it with Reagan and Thatcher now. Their spouse's BFF. Also the best friend's spouse. The present no one wanted. Jeez, you sound like my dang dad. Food answers only. Where do you live? Hamburgers and root beer, baby. That's where I live. Meatballs and mashed potatoes with lingonberry jam on the side. Sweden. Also, IKEA. Poutine. I was just gonna say that. Tabernacle. Gonna guess Quebec? I got mad beef with Quebec. Not like the real country, but in civilization, they went to war with me for no reason. I'm still mad. South of cheese, east of corn. Illinois? Correct. Euros. Grease in it. Cheesesteaks, soft pretzels, tasty cakes, and water ice. Yo, Philly! Gumbo. Louisiana? Fish and chips. UK. French fries and coleslaw on a sandwich. Also Heinz ketchup. Hey, Pittsburgh. Bagel. New York. Are you sure? Because I would imagine pizza, New York. Pizza, pasta. Whoa! My burrito has French fries in it. SoCal. I love a California burrito. Honestly, they are a little slept on, even though the French fries are they're just potatoes, so a potato burrito is California, whatever. In 50 years, what will people be nostalgic for? Owning something you don't pay a subscription for. It's more likely than you think. I heard BMWs you have to pay a subscription service to use heated seats? What? Being confident that the person they see on screen is a real person and not AI. I have a can of frozen-themed chicken noodle soup that I plan to sell when I'm 70, so hopefully that, because I don't have a lot of money in my retirement fund. Privacy. Even babies are overexposed today. Being able to be anonymous online. I'm sure we'll still find ways to hide ourselves. Movies made 30 years from now. Nostalgia always runs in 20-year cycles. Keys. Even more specific, vehicle keys. Even more specific, Alicia keys. I guess even more specific, the black keys. Well, I'll be 110, so I'm going to say breathing. If you could bankrupt one company, which one would you pick and why? Nestle is the scum of the earth. Nestle owns the scum of the earth and will now charge you for each drop of it that is taken. Nestle is copyrighted scum of the earth, so you will have to pay to use those words. Bank of America. I deposited $750 one time and somehow they still can't find it 5 years later. Even though I had the receipt for the deposit, they still would not honor it. Frig them and their mothers. Ticketmaster. Venue fee. Ticketmaster fee. Seat reservation fee. Floor space reservation fee. Print at home fee. Will call fee. Scan on your phone fee. Popular band fee. Unpopular band fee. Because we can fee. Frig you fee. The biggest scam out of all of them is the convenience fee. It's not being a convenience anymore. You are the only way to buy these tickets. I think if you want to see the world burn, Deutsche Bank would be high on the list. Also, it would be well deserved. 5-minute crafts. Let's see if they can make a life hack for company getting bankrupt. A few months ago, my kids put on a lemonade stand in our driveway. It was cute and they were selling cups of lemonade for $1 a cup. After a few hours, they made around $100 from sales and tips, which was cool as a dad to see. The following week, the kids across the street did the same thing. I choose them. Meta. They're doing that to themselves already. The biggest crime other than Zuckerberg is that they forced Oculus to change their name. They pioneered VR and no, Meta made it, actually, haha. I couldn't pick just one. Can I have an easier question? Autism Speaks. They don't represent us. Facebook or Meta? That would bring down so many others attached to it. Maximum destruction. Nestle. They are one of the worst companies on earth right now. Look up the Nestle water scandal. Not just water scandal, chocolate slave farming, and third world mother breast milk formula. Edit. Horrible syntax. jokes. Also, Nestle pushes their baby formula in third world countries to mothers with the BS that their formula is better than breast milk. Not only that, they give it away for free at the beginning, only just long enough for the mother's breast milk to dry up, and then they have to buy the formula. The Murdoch Group. The amount of damage that man has done to the UK, US, and Australia should see him imprisoned for life. Realistically, what's stopping us from world peace? Greed, stupidity, lack of empathy. The world is run by people who have no interest in peace or letting everyone else thrive. Scarcity, whether real or perceived. Only justification for tribalism is that it secures resources to be allocated amongst the tribe. Even if we somehow eradicated propaganda that make people believe in false scarcity, we'd still have to deal with artificial scarcity that is propped up by corporate government/corporations. And then too remains the real deal affinity in nature. Browse Reddit for 5 minutes. People just like that rise to power. Humans. Yeah, it seems like no matter what else might change, humans are gonna human. The human nature of tribalism. We'd all have to agree on what that means first. Profit. 34th rule of acquisition. War is good for business. That's why America's so good at war, baby. Difference of opinion. I disagree. What's the fascination with big boobs? Well, I mean, do I really have to? Let's see what people said. I just like when they stick out more than my gut. Signed, a woman. Bling, bling. Yes, quite. Oh, wait, no, ew, I'm not listening to Toe Sucker. Gross. Life cold, life hard, be warm, be soft. Boobs are awesome, and when they're bigger, there's more boob. Booba. Monkey brain correlates sexual attraction of large breasts to be a desirable trait for a partner. Monkey brain be like, ooh, big mommy milkies, she'll feed many a babe. I read this in an Adam Sandler voice. I don't know how would he do that? I love how in the other related questions, everyone's like, oh, it doesn't matter what size, boobs are boobs. But when big boobs are mentioned, our brains wiring, neuron activation. Me, I'm not really into anybody, to be honest. Brain, what if she had bobs? Me, you crazy son of a bitch, I'm in. What car says, I have money, but I'm not showing it off? Toyota Land Cruiser, $80,000 SUV and super capable, but to the untrained eye, it's a Highlander. 90s Toyota 4x4. I think that's also a 4Runner still? Would that be a 4Runner? I don't know. Pick a Volvo. You really don't see them out on the road that much. Anything older that's properly maintained and running well. Anything older that's not rusted out in places that put salt on the road in the winter. Toyota Avalon Limited. Ooh, I just looked that up and that does look pretty nice. It kind of just looks like a Corolla, but a little fancier. Some pickup trucks are surprisingly expensive, but don't look like it. 1989 Chevy Celebrity. 1983 Toyota Corolla. What is the creepiest thing you've ever experienced in your home? One night a few years ago when I was sleeping, a big wolf spider crawled on my face. Oh no. It's not like an extremely creepy thing, but still. I was living with my mom and stepdad when it happened, and that day they were out, so I had to look after the cat. At some point, I'm in the living room and the cat is at the bottom of the staircase, staring at the door as if he saw something. Now, before I explain what happened, the door was locked and we have a curtain in front of it. Literally, no one can knock on the door or even reach it. So I asked the cat, something up there? He stared at me and I suddenly heard the doorknob, like someone was forcibly trying to open it, and it came from inside of the house. It couldn't come from outside. I stayed there, frozen, looking at the door, and then decided to go back to my room and wait for my mom and stepdad to get back. It's the only time it ever happened to me. Look, if it's cold outside, the ghosts are cold. Let them in. One night when I was about 11 and home alone, an intense thunder and lightning storm developed. During a loud clap of thunder and brilliant lightning flash, it illuminated the entire 2-story house. I heard a spooky sound simultaneously with the thunder. Seems that one of the chains that holds the heavy weights on the grandfather clock in the foyer broke, allowing the weight to whack the dong and bang the pendulum as it crashed into the bottom of the clock case. At that point, I was convinced that something evil was lurking in the house, so I stayed in my room, cowering with the door locked until my parents finally returned home. We had moved to a new rental house a few months before giving birth to my second son. First son was 6 years old. I was working full-time and very tired after working all day, coming home doing housework, cooking dinner, and helping with homework, etc. After bathing my older son and getting him in bed, I would fall asleep on the sofa most nights before going to bed. One night, I thought I heard my son walking in the hallway, but when I opened my eyes, I saw an older gentleman holding a little girl's hand walking down the hall. When I jumped up, they just disappeared. This happened quite often and I thought I was going crazy. After about a year or so, we purchased our own home and was packing to move. My older son and I were in his bedroom getting his things in order. He asked me so calmly if the man and little girl were going with us. I had never mentioned this to anyone. When I inquired about whom he was talking, he stated the ones that live in his closet. I immediately got cold chills and knew I had not been hallucinating. He was not scared about it at all, just matter of fact about it. I was so relieved they did not move with us. One night when I was asleep, I sensed that someone was watching me sleep. I looked around, but no one was there. After I went back to sleep, I heard some footsteps that went pitter-patter and an apologetic voice saying, "I'm sorry." Still, no one was there. Ooh, spooky. At 2 in the morning, I was smoking a cigarette on the front step of my apartment. The entire time I was standing there was an absolute silence. All of a sudden, a train horn sounds. The 5-year-old child next door screams, and a sudden wind gust slams the open door against my shoulder. I swear to God, I thought a ghost was attacking me for exactly 1 second. My eyes were watering and my heart was racing. I think that stuff cut 2 years off my life. For the record, the young child yelled possibly because she and her mother were playing. They always stayed up late. 2 a.m. is extremely late for a 5-year-old. WTF. When my daughter was 2, I was snuggling with her in my bed and we fell asleep. I woke up to my dog, who was in the backyard at the time, going nuts. I rolled off the bed and stepped into the hallway and there was an old lady standing there staring at me. I froze and said, can I help you? She answered, "I was cold." Then she turned around, confused, and headed for the door. I followed her out and asked her if she needed me to call someone, but she just took off. I called the police non-emergency line and apparently she is pretty well known to them. She has dementia and lives down the street from me with family. I have never accidentally left the door unlocked again. At least she didn't try and stay in the house and she just willingly left. That's at least the safe thing there. And just like that old lady, I've gotta go. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, my name is Brandon and I will see you, or you'll hear me, another time. Bye bye.